Hi, I'm Ksenia. Thank you so much for joining me this week for the weekly Astro Weather Report. I'm your Astro Weather Girl. It is so lovely to be with you. I want to especially welcome anybody who is newly subscribed to my channel. You are so welcome here. We are a very inviting community. You can leave comments, as long as they're respectful, comments in the comments section. We love discussion about astrological ideas. You're more than welcome to do so here. And for all my friends and followers who have been with me for a couple of years now, thank you for sticking with me and coming and tuning in for the Astro Weather Report every week. I also have some really interesting interviews up at the moment. Do check them out on my YouTube channel. And there are some really great lesson series if you're wanting to learn more about astrology too on my channel, you know, looking at, say, Saturn moving through the houses. And this is going to be particularly important at the end of the year when Saturn changes signs. What house is he going to be transiting in your chart that's going to be particularly impacted? So that's an example. There's Uranus transiting the houses, a few different series that I've produced. So do check those free informational series out. They're chock full of fabulous information to support you in your astrological journey. And speaking of supporting one another in our journeys, we all need a bit of self-care right now. Let's face it, 2020 has been hard yakka, that's a term we use in Australia, hard work, as we try to navigate these energies that are shifting and changing within us. They're causing a lot of friction, they're causing a lot of tension, they've been causing a lot of upheaval. Even without the pandemic, there's been some real argy-bargy in the air with this particular year. Now, because of this, I'm hosting a giveaway here on my site because I want to support and help people as best I can to live kinder, more fruitful, more abundant lives. And so I'm offering in a giveaway this beautiful deck of oracle cards by the very well-renowned Doreen Virtue, the Flower Therapy Oracle Card Deck. That's part of this package. Beautiful I was going to say amber, but it's not amber, it's amethyst bracelet, beautiful crystal bracelet to go in this package. And the best bit of the package that I think it's the best bit anyhow, it's this beautiful book. I don't know if you can see it there on the camera, it's kind of got reflective writing, a book on self-care, beautiful self-care book, which we all need right now. It's got, you know, how to heal and how to structure your life through various mechanisms like manifestation, like meditation, how to set boundaries, how to, you know, eat well, how to practice ritual, how to practice self-love, how to practice detox, you know, how to clear your home, how to, I mean, just flicking through the chapters here as I'm telling you, abilities to, you know, or not abilities, but practices to get better sleep, practices that can calm your mind and your body, beauty treatments that are natural, you know, information about healthy eating and how to be present and practicing touch and walking and yoga and all these wonderful, amazing things. It's a great little resource for self-care. So this is what we're giving away. This book, Oracle Card Deck, and the Neptune-oriented amethyst bracelet. So the amethyst bracelet is purported to carry the qualities of Neptune, unconditional love, compassion, and divine insight and wisdom. So that is the beautiful bracelet that's part of this package. If you would like this package, then you need to enter into this giveaway, obviously. How do you do that? Well, I really want to encourage everybody to do an act of kindness. That's the first thing you need to do. Do an act of kindness for someone else. My daughter, I was so proud of her this week. She was out mowing the front lawn and she decided that, you know, just out of the kindness of her heart, that she would mow the front yards of our two next door neighbors on either side. And oh, my heart, I was watching her out the window and my heart was just like, I'm so proud of you. That's what we need to do. Some act of kindness for somebody in our lives or someone that we come across. Do an act of kindness. Now, of course, I'm not going to go and check up on whether you've done that and then your eligibility to enter the competition. It's simply, you know, your honor, your integrity to go and do an act of kindness. And of course, if we have a lot of people doing an act of kindness, then the energy and the vibration of love in the world raises itself. And that's what I really want to achieve with this. More self-love, more self-care, and more acts of kindness, of giving, of charity, of compassion to others, of course, as well. So that's the first thing. And then obviously the usual standard that we would expect in a giveaway. Share one of my videos on your social media page. Now I would highly recommend last Sunday's video, the dialogue, the conversation that I had with Tess, the shamanic healer, who provides shamanic healing services for people who have anxiety, worry, depression, alcohol addiction, and problems with children, problems with family, karmic problems. She's amazing. She's truly amazing. So if you want to share that video, I'd highly recommend that one. But you can share any video you like of mine that was really helpful and pertinent to you on your social media page, and then put the link to that share in a comment under this video, for this video. That's all you've got to do. 2 things. Do an act of kindness for someone, raise the vibration on the planet, share one of my videos on your social media page, any social media page, put the link to that in a comment here, and you'll go into the draw to receive this care package giveaway. So excited to be doing this for everybody, because by goodness, we all need acts of kindness in our life first and foremost. So I'm going to draw the winner, put everyone's name in a big fish bowl or something, and we'll draw the winner out on my video in 2 weeks' time. So not next week's video, but the week after. So do share and do get in to win that beautiful self-care package. Now this week is a very special week in astrology, and this is because we are going to be experiencing the heliacal rising of Sirius, the fixed star. And this is happening on the 16th of August here in Australia, where I am, or for other parts of the world, it will be occurring on the 15th of August. So why is this heliacal rising so important? Well, Sirius is the brightest star in the night sky. It's actually 40 times as bright as our sun. And it is believed that this star, Sirius, is in a binary system with our sun, which means they circle one another. And I'll talk a little bit more about how that impacts us here on Earth as this video goes along. But what is heliacal rising? It is when something appears for the first time in the sky before the rising of the sun. Now, Sirius disappeared behind the sun about 70 days ago. And so on the 15th or 16th, depending where you are, Sirius is going to rise in the morning and be visible before the sun then rises. It becomes a morning star. Now, ancient Greeks and Romans coined the phrase dog days, because at the time that Sirius did its heliacal rising, which was usually in July or August, the days obviously got very hot, and it was considered that these were the hottest days of the year that occurred at the time of the heliacal rising of Sirius. And that usually in the ancient Greek and Roman beliefs, it was believed that these dog days brought fevers, they brought disasters, they brought difficulties associated with heat. Just a belief. And so, of course, the fact that Sirius is 40 times hotter than our sun, how did they know that there was such an intense heat involved with Sirius? Maybe they were getting their information from somewhere. So Sirius is actually associated, well, it's called the dog star, and it's associated with dogs and wolves in many ancient cultures, not just dog days in ancient Greek and ancient Rome. We know in astrology Sirius to be a leadership star, and this is especially in the realms of spiritual leadership and divinely inspired leadership that comes from, the heavenly realms, blessed leadership. That's Sirius. And it's connected with the energy of Mars and the energy of Jupiter. And that's why it has this energy of spiritual Jupiter and leadership Jupiter, but it's also something of a warrior star because of the energy of Mars that's associated with Sirius as well. That warrior superhero nature, that fighter for a just cause, hence somebody who will fight for spiritual wisdom or spiritual values. So if you have Sirius at 14 degrees of Cancer conjunct with either Jupiter or Mars, it's going to be extra powerful in its impact in your chart and its impact on your life, especially if there are good aspects to Sirius, if it is well aspected by other supportive beneficiary planets. Then it can bring you a great amount of spiritual leadership and spiritual guidance into how you interact with the world. So let me show you around where Sirius is, just so we can get a bit of an idea of what's going on. Up here, around 14 degrees of Cancer, I'll just draw a little star. That's meant to be a star. It's a bit odd looking. That is where Sirius resides, okay? So if your ascendant, if your sun, if your moon, if your midheaven, if your IC or your DC manifestation point as well, or your first house lord, the planetary lord that rules your rising sign, if they sit at 14 degrees, and you might be able to sort of give it a bit of a 2-degree leeway. So between 12 degrees and 16 degrees of Cancer, you'll get the effects of Sirius manifesting in your life, and they will be strongly felt, especially around the time of the heliacal rising, when Sirius becomes visible again. It might be like you get a boost of that leadership quality, that spiritual insight, the spiritual wisdom, and that determination to fight for justice that comes through with the nature of Sirius at this time. Now, in that sense, it will be a powerful day for people who have Sirius in a strong position in their chart, but this happens every year. We have a heliacal rising of Sirius every year. It changes days. It's never, quite sort of in around August that we have the heliacal rising occur. And a lot of people this August, around the 8th, were saying, special day on the 8th of August, check it out, it's going to be amazing, and so on and so on. But it's not rising on the 8th of August this year. It's rising around the 15th and 16th. So that's not so. So it's different every year. And it doesn't, like, I've been reading some memes online that really disturbed me, actually, because it was very much astrological misinformation saying that that Sirius is going to be lining up in a direct line with the Earth and the Sun. Well, here's the Sun right now, and here's Sirius, not in a line, trajectory at all. So this misinformation I was quite concerned about, and I thought I better talk about this in my video just so that people don't get steered in the wrong direction, okay? So it's not about lining up. This special day isn't about the Sun lining up with Sirius and the Earth. It's actually about the heliacal rising of the star Sirius, when it becomes visible after 70 days of invisibility, sort of hidden by the sun's glare. Now it's going to be seen in the morning. So if you want to get up and check it out in the morning, you will see it on the horizon there if you know what you're looking for. But let me tell you a bit about Sirius. Thousands of years ago, its rising actually occurred on summer solstice, around the 21st of June, which is when we celebrate that now. And so its rising was at a different time, and this changes because of the precession of the equinoxes, of course, over a great length of time. So it formerly, back in the days of ancient Egypt, would rise at summer solstice, and this is why it was so important. In fact, the ancient Egyptian calendar was a 30-day lunar cycle calendar, but it was based around the heliacal rising of Sirius. Now, the ancient Egyptians actually esteemed Sirius very highly, and so it was part of their calendar as a very significant event, summer solstice, heliacal rising of Sirius. And this great significance that it held in ancient Egypt was because it kind of denoted the beginning of their new year. And to them, it denoted the impending annual flood of the Nile, and the Egyptians depended on the flooding of the Nile to bring fertility, new silt that washed down and created new, like I said, fertility for fields and so forth. And the flooding of the Nile was, it was kind of a mixture of disaster, flood, but it brought blessing and it brought life to Egypt, and abundance came with it. And that was usually the summer solstice would trigger that effect, maybe through the weather that then came with the summer rains that fell, that caused the Nile to, go into a flood situation. And spiritually in ancient Egypt, the star Sirius was connected to the god Anubis, who was linked to protection and safe passage into other realms, to the realm of the dead or to other, terrestrial realms, ancient connection between Sirius and Anubis in that sense. So I'm fascinated by Sirius due to its powerful connection to something called the Great Year, which is a 26,000 year cycle of the equinoxes, basically. Plato coined the term the great year for this 26,000 year great cycle that we are all a part of. But it's also known in the Vedic system as the Yuga cycle. You've probably heard mention in spiritual circles of the Kali Yuga, which is the era of time that we are currently rising out of, thank God, because it's considered to be the most difficult time for mankind, because it's when the sun is at its furthest position from the other star that it's in a binary system with, Sirius. Sirius is very important to life on Earth because of that. Some people even believe that Sirius is connected to what we call the consciousness of God. And certainly in the cycle of the great year, the closer that the sun and Sirius come to one another in their binary system, the more enlightened we find humanity becoming, the more wise, the more benevolent, the more godlike our mental capacity becomes as we enter into close proximity to Sirius, which may well be where this idea that Sirius contains the consciousness of God, that might be where it comes from. Now, if you want to know more about the cycle of the great year, how it affects us, how it works, I have done a video where I've talked about this. Check it out in the links below. There is also a really good documentary on this theory narrated by James Earl Jones that is brilliant. It's in one of my playlists on my YouTube channel. Do check that out. I'll pop the link there as well if you want to find out more about how this binary system works and how it affects life on Earth. So we can see that this heliacal rising of Sirius is going to be very, very important for us, especially in this rather interesting year, 2020. What it means for us, bit hard to say. We might see leaders of a spiritual nature rise up this year to take the forefront, to sort of lead us to better, higher ground, morally, emotionally, energetically. That may very well be the case. Some people might receive spiritual gifts under the heliacal rising of Sirius this year. We might see a lot of wisdom suddenly coming to the earth of a spiritual, divinely God-conscious nature. And couldn't we all use a little bit of that at this time? So great time to sort of, if you're into sort of praying or meditating on the divine, to sort of channel in the positive, uplifting effects of Sirius under this influence of becoming visible again. Now, if you are interested in getting out there and having a look at the heliacal rising of Sirius and being under its energy the morning that it rises, a great thing to do. I'm hoping to do that if I can get myself out of bed. Then I would suggest getting a really good app on your phone that can sort of, the ones where you can hold them up to the stars and sort of align with whatever stars are there, and you know which star is what. Otherwise it might be a little bit difficult to tell which star rising happens to be the one we're all looking for, Sirius. So get yourself a good app. I can't think of any off the top of my head. I know I've got one on my phone, but I can't think of what it's called. If anyone wants to list good apps for looking at the constellations in the comment section below, that would be greatly appreciated for everybody. So what about the rest of the astro weather and how things are going to be affecting us? Well, I firstly need to point out that what I'm going to talk about here now, I'm using Australian times. If you are in the rest of the world, usually you'll be roughly a day or so behind us in Australia. We come first, funnily enough. So the dates that I'm giving are the Australian dates for Eastern Standard Time in Australia. You might need to sort of double check where you are in the world in relation to Australian Eastern Standard Time, and usually it'll be a day or so behind. So if I say the 16th, it's likely to be the 15th for you in America or Europe. So the first things first, we have what we've been kind of about for quite a few months now. You might have heard astrologers referring to this, getting a bit nail-bitey about the fact that Mars is about to make a square. Where's Mars? Here he is over here. Mars is about to make a square to Pluto. Oh dear. Now this is occurring at 23 degrees of the sign of Aries and 23 degrees for Pluto at the sign of Capricorn. What does this mean for us all? Well, a Pluto square to Mars usually indicates intense willpower, Mars and Pluto both are connected to the will. This is the personal will. This is the collective will. Pluto, collective will. Mars, personal will. Willpower. And our ability to channel our willpower will be felt very strongly on this day. But because of the square aspect between the two, our willpower, our determination might be a little bit misguided, a bit heading in the wrong direction. So we might have the willpower to say, stuff you, government, Pluto in Capricorn, ruling government structures and rules and regulations. Stuff you, we're going to go and do it our own way. That might be the case. It might be a bit misguided. It could be the other way around. The government might decide we're going to impose this restriction when we're going to come down with an iron fist. And that could be completely misguided as well. So look out, watch the news, look in your own life for ways where people are exerting their willpower, and recognize that under this influence, it's more likely than not to be a little bit misguided and off the mark. Keep that in mind. Mars is a planet of action. Pluto is a planet of crisis. Here, action and crisis meet under tension. So we might be inspired, if you want to call it that, inspired to take action about something in our life. We jump in, we go headlong, and it actually causes a crisis. It causes difficulty. It causes an upheaval that we wouldn't have wanted. Be very careful about the actions you take under this energy. In fact, this energy is going to be playing out pretty much almost until the end of the year, certainly into November. And so it's not going to be an easy energy to tango with for the rest of this year. And this is what everyone has been talking about in astrological circles as being something to be aware of, something to take note of, something to be very careful about. So do guard your actions. Think twice before you act under this energy. Mars is the energy of war and the sign of war, and Pluto is the planet of transformation. So if there is any what we would call argy-bargy or angst or anger or vengefulness or rageful words or anything of that nature, the hope is with this that it will cause transformation, and hopefully of a positive nature. The square aspect doesn't usually denote immediate positive change, but a square aspect brings tension that can cause us to, in this instance, to transform with time out of whatever circumstance arises. But it's usually not instantaneous. It's kind of like, if you think about a rugby scrum and people pushing heads together, that it's not instantaneous change. It's pushing, trying to sort of get through the blocks, the brick walls, the challenges, the issues, trying to push through things that then leads to transformation. So in that sense, any sort of anger and aggression of Mars under this influence can ultimately lead to transformation, but you've got to be prepared to push through any issues, any blocks that are there initially. So this is also an aspect that can cause secret motives that come to the surface now. Pluto brings things out to be exposed, to be seen, and to be purged and released. I love the work of Pluto. He is a hard planet to deal with, but he is about maturation. He's about our growth. And in his purging and releasing and exposure of the darkness, we can be transformed. In that sense, I really love the way Pluto works. But Mars making a square to Pluto can cause exposure of hidden motives and secret sort of agendas that might come out now, that might be revealed under this energy, which could be very enlightening considering everything in the world right now. It could be very enlightening. It could be very confronting as well. So be prepared for that. There could be some deeply hidden desires as well. Mars is our desires. Mars is our passions. And these passions and these desires are set free, kaboom, like a big explosion out there. You might have been feeling angry for a while, and it's like a seething volcano within you. And suddenly under this energy, look out world, here you are with your erupting volcano kind of thing. So do be very conscious of that, and conscious of the impact that you'll be having on other people under this energy also. Now, at a personal level, if you are a man, you need to be very careful while this influence is playing out and affecting us on Earth. You need to be very careful of how you're handling your love situations, because it is a signature that can sometimes indicate cruelty in love. It can indicate being very hurtful in a love relationship. So put that at the forefront of your mind and resolve to act with tenderness, act with compassion, to draw on your feminine side wherever possible, lest something unwanted happens in your relationship life because of this energy. I would also say, if you're a woman and you are single and you're looking to establish a new relationship, or even if you're not single and you're looking for an affair, be very, very careful. Be really, really careful, because under this energy, if you start a new relationship, you're going to have this influence playing out in your life, in that new relationship. This will be the energy of that new relationship will carry the signature of Mars square Pluto, and you may very well find that you will end up being with a person who's, very violent or aggressive or vengeful. In some ways, that likelihood is increased under this energy. So if you're wanting to go out dating and meet someone new, if this was me, I'd be hanging off for another 6 months till this is all done and dusted and you're home free. So do be very cautious under this energy if you're a woman, because of course Mars rules men and Venus rules women in relationships. So that's hence the division of how this might play out between the sexes. But I do have good news. Don't worry. There is good news on the horizon, because on the 15th of August, the Sun in Leo will be making a beautiful trine to Mars, alleviating some of that pressure through this very advantageous trine aspect to Mars. What does that bring us? How is that going to alleviate things? So we're going to have about 2 days where we're a bit with Pluto Mars, and then along comes the square from Mars to the Sun that could give us a bit of breathing room, thankfully. I also need to point out that this energy is building in the lead up to the new moon that's going to be occurring in the latter degrees of Leo. Keep an eye out on my YouTube channel. I'll be doing a special report on this new moon for you all, and that'll be coming out just before the new moon in Leo. It's going to be quite a doozy, this one. So there's a special report on that. Keep an eye out for that. I'm not going to talk about it in this video instead. But with Mars making a trine now to the Sun, we're going to sort of get people becoming more honest. So while there's some serious passions that come out here with this aspect, 2 days later, people are going to be sort of expressing themselves more honestly under this influence. There'll be a lot more tolerance of other people's perspectives and opinions that will come with the Sun making a trine to Mars. Respect for other people's desires, what they want in their life. They'll be a bit more like, well, yeah, that's okay. We can tolerate that. We can accommodate that. Much more benevolent kind of energy that can come about, thankfully, under this. And there might be even more initiative towards achieving successful outcomes in your life. You might be taking steps towards bringing something special about into your life. This is an energy of success. If you've got it in a natal chart, it brings success into your life. And certainly in the collective, as we experience it through transit, that can be the case as well. We might sort of be able to energize ourselves towards achieving more success in the world. We are going to feel more energized in general as well under this influence. So where we've been feeling a bit attacked under this energy, it's all happening and everybody's getting in there and sort of sticking the arrows and the swords in. Under this energy, it's going to feel like, you know what, I can handle this. I can deal with this. I'm feeling energized and upbeat, and I don't have to, be defensive or react or whatever, but I'm going to just stay in my own energy and utilize that to bring success into my life. So you can really channel that energy at a higher level. And there's also an ability to achieve, which is under this energy, which is a very masculine activation now. Remember, Mars is a planet that rules men in relationships, and the Sun is like the king, the masculine energy of governance, if you like, or rulership, the king. And so there's a very strong energetic output of masculine activation that's positive under this influence, very beneficial. So we might be asserting our power now. This will go for men and women. Those women who can get in touch with their masculine side and balance that out, you'll be able to activate this as well. Hopefully women who are too much the other way into the masculine energy and not enough feminine, that they won't go off the deep end with this. But basically it represents the ability for us to assert our own power now, personal power, which is Mars, and any power that we assert will be done from a heart-centered place, from a place of, well, generally love. And because Leo is a sign connected with love. So in that sense, the energy that we impart in our masculine assertion and initiation and the creative energy of the two fire signs meeting here in trine will bring about something hopefully that comes from the center of love, the heart-centered actions, which is actually quite beautiful. We might see some real positive outcomes from this on the earth and in our personal lives. So how is this energy of Pluto Mars on the 13th going to play out for us in our personal lives, and how is it going to be relieved? Well, we're going to start with this week. We're going to start with Scorpio. I can't remember if I used Scorpio last week to start things off or not, but if I did, they're getting a lucky second shot at going first. Okay. So if you're Scorpio rising, Mars is the ruler of your first house and your sixth house. And it's first and sixth house areas where there might be some deeply hidden desires, some passions that are coming out now and being revealed. So maybe, this is the house of diet, this is the house of the body. Maybe you've been eating in a certain way. Maybe you've been practicing really good vegan diet or, really good healthy summer salads and things like that. And you've been sort of really taking care of your body through your health and your nutrition. And then along comes this day and suddenly you're at the fridge at midnight eating your dairy milk chocolate in secret desire for some sugar and some dairy and some chocolate coming out under this influence. That could be one way it manifests. Perhaps another way might be to do with exercise. The gym. You're at the gym and you're getting some of this tense energy out. You've got this action that's really amped up right now. Mars in the sign of Aries. Yeah, I'm going to get at the gym and lift weights, or I'm going to go for a 10K jog or whatever. And you do these things and boom, crisis comes, because Pluto square Mars is crisis. You're jogging along and you pull a muscle and you have to hobble home. Oh my God, my leg's about to fall off. It feels so sore. That kind of energy. And that's then a manifestation of what I'm talking about here with Pluto Mars, making you, direct your action and your willpower and your intensity into something that's a bit misguided. Thinking that you could run 10Ks when you haven't run 10Ks in like 5 years. That kind of thing. So do be careful if you're going to do exercise. Be careful of what you're eating, because things can be a bit misguided under this energy that don't actually serve your best interest if you're Scorpio rising. So watch out for hidden desires and passions surfacing around the body and health and well-being. Watch out also for anything that is a bit misguided regarding exercise as well. You might also like to take into consideration your work life too, because there could be some tensions here with your work life, with your relationship with your employees, with your interactions with people in the workplace could be highly volatile at this time. Lots of hidden motives coming out and secret agendas being revealed. It's an energy of action meets crisis. So just know that in this realm, it's likely to be quite tense for you guys also. Moving along, let's have a look at Sagittarius. Well, for Sagittarius, Mars is ruling the 12th house and the 5th house. 12th house Scorpio, 5th house is the sign of Aries. So this is where things are going to be activated on the 13th of August under the square of Pluto Mars. So you'll have an energy, if you're Sagittarius rising, of intense willpower relating to children, relating to lovers, relating to your hobbies. You'll be able to throw intense willpower behind those things. However, just be very careful that it's not misdirected. So you might decide, if you're Sagittarius rising, I'm going to really, spend some time with my kids, and we're going to go out and kick the football in the park, and we're going to, put some energy into my children, intense willpower to connect and to be with kids or lovers or whatever. And then you go out and have a kick of the footy in the park, and somebody gets hurt, somebody gets injured, because Mars is accidents, Pluto is crisis. Here they are connecting. And look out, you end up in the hospital, taking someone to hospital with a broken arm. Now, of course, you can't avoid those things. Me talking about that kind of a situation, it shouldn't stop you from going out and having a kick of the footy in the park. That's a great thing to do. But just be very wary of, just know that astrology works. And if you should wind up in the hospital with a child with a broken arm, then maybe that's because of this energy playing out in the sky. It could manifest in multitudes of different ways, but the energy is a tense one. So you just be aware of that. Take precautions if you're doing anything risky, because this is an energy where there could be some accidents occur, some sort of crisis situation crops up regarding children, regarding lovers, or even your hobbies. Maybe your hobby is flying model planes or something like that, and you're out there flying model planes, or doing sort of remote control boats or something, and you love to do that, and then lo and behold, there's some sort of an accident with your plane or your boat, and your hobby suffers because of this crisis energy. So it is going to play out in the big picture on the collective, but in personal lives, these things play out sometimes in less volatile ways than we see in the collective. Sometimes it plays out through really simple things like, you take your remote control boat out and it ends up sinking to the bottom of the lake because it, gets a hole in the rudder or something like that, or the underbelly of the boat. So that's another kind of illustration. Some crisis events, some accidents, some, difficulties, even some secret motives coming out regarding or from your children or from your lovers, Suddenly, your lover comes out and says something, and you're like, my God, I didn't know you felt that way. Have you been hiding that all this time? You've been feeling that way and you never expressed it to me, how come? That can be certainly come out under this energy as well. Hidden motives, hidden passions, things that cause animosity, not hidden motives or hidden passions that are like, hey, that's great. It's more hidden motives that are going to cause a bit of argy-bargy, some arguments, some frustrations in your life. So be very, very careful not be careful. What can you do about that? You just have to be aware that might be the case at the time, and navigate it with patience and gentleness as much as you're able to. Forewarned is forearmed. Okay, for Capricorn rising people, the energy of Pluto Mars is going to be felt in the 4th house. Mars rules the 4th house, and this is where on the 13th of August, you'll probably feel intense willpower to achieve something and do something, but watch out, because it could be a little bit misguided under this energy. So you might have a desire to go and do something on your house. This is the area of home, actual physical house, roots, lineage, family, the maternal line, property. So you might decide, I'm going to go and fix that leaky tile up on the roof. And up you go onto the roof on this day, and then look out, we've got accidents with Mars. We've got, you had your willpower to go and make a change to something in your home, but look, you might slip and hurt yourself. Hopefully not. I don't want to jinx anything, but under this energy, not a wise idea to climb up on the roof and try and fix a tile in your house. Anything to do with the home could be a cause of misdirected willpower to achieve something, to change something, to fix something with Mars. That could actually cause problems. So be very, very aware that could be the case, and act with as much safety and precaution as you can around the home. I know this probably sounds very, very negative, but realize that Mars is the energy of fire. Here it is in the home, and it's making an aspect to the planet of crisis. Just, don't go leaving the fire burning in the grate overnight. Put it out before you go to bed, Don't let the curtain hang too close to the heater. Be a bit more conscious about those things. This energy mightn't be too favorable for that to sort of come off all right in the end, you know. So take precautions in the home, and you know, just be aware of accidents that may occur. That would be my first suggestion for Capricorn rising people. I know it sounds very depressing, but forewarned is forearmed, is it not? Also, this is an area of life where there might be some hidden secrets that now surface, that are revealed. So you might find maybe an old family secret comes to light. You discover something about grandma that's like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. You know, something is brought to the surface. Pluto is to expose, to bring to the surface. And Mars here, it could be some sort of really dark, violent kind of secret that's been kept hidden for all these years. It could be something very crisis-ridden that has been kept secret in the family for all these years as well. Deep passions in the family might surface under this energy too. So, you know, deeply hidden desires, deeply hidden passions that have, you know, have not seen the light of day might come out. And there might be some aggression around family at this time. So, again, forewarned is forearmed under this energy. And know that, you know, a couple of days later, if you're having a big argument in the family or something like that, a couple of days later, you're going to get a trine from the sun that will ease things off and help people to be more honest, more diplomatic with one another. But if you're Capricorn rising, these are the themes, you know, a bit of tenseness and a bit of exposure of deep, dark secrets, a bit of potential for sort of crisis or, you know, crisis events that occur that are to do with home, heritage, roots, lineage. Aquarius rising, well, for you on the 13th of August, Mars will be squaring Pluto, and it's going to be squaring this big conglomerate of planets throughout the remainder of the year. So this is just kind of the beginning, but Pluto square Mars is a pretty difficult aspect. And so this little talk I'm going to give here for you guys now, Aquarius rising people, may not be too happy, joy. It might be a bit more heavy duty. So bear with me. But this is the realm of life. The third house is the realm of life where you might experience some kind of transformative crisis that occurs, or the exposure of some hidden secrets comes up in your life, hidden motives that cause animosity and difficulty. So in the third house, we're looking at maybe hidden secrets with a sibling or a co-worker or a neighbor, somebody who lives near us. Something comes to light, some truth comes out about something that's been kept hidden and kept in the dark and kept secret that's revealed now. So that can happen. Secrets are revealed, secrets are exposed, and they meet the light of day, sometimes not always beneficially. So there might also be some willpower that is a bit misdirected. You know, you're trying to catch up with your sister or your brother, and you try to make that effort, and everything just goes wrong, and it just doesn't work out right, and everyone ends up frustrated and annoyed, and the catch up just is a waste of time, and you're just like, why do I even bother? You know, the connections with our neighbors, our siblings, our relatives can be a bit frustrated under this energy as well. And certainly because this is the energy of our relatives here, we might find some hidden secrets coming out about our relatives. Some things are exposed, some of their deep dark passions are revealed for what they actually are, and it might cause a lot of tension, it might cause a lot of frustration in a family. But Pluto is all about exposing things to the light, to the truth, in order to be transformed. So know that in the long run, if that happens, it's going to transform things. And certainly the trine from the sun on the 15th of August will alleviate that pressure that may be felt. Also, this is the house of small business, communications, writing, speaking. So you might be exposing hidden truths through something that you write. You might be receiving some sort of teaching or listening to somebody on YouTube talk about something, and they reveal some sort of hidden secret that you're like, cha-ching, light bulb moment, and it might cause a bit of anger or frustration or tension in you because you've always thought a certain way. This is the house of thinking. You've always thought a certain way, and lo and behold, here comes this exposure of hidden information, and it's just upset everything you always thought, and you have to change, you know, your perspective on something. That could be very frustrating under this energy. People under this energy who have strong Aquarius could be writing, speaking, teaching about transformation through crisis, also under this energy as well. You might be very inspired to communicate about the transformative effect of crisis situations or those sorts of things. So if you're Aquarius, rising sun or moon, that may be how this energy manifests in your life. Well, what about if you're Pisces? Well, Mars is falling in your second house, which is Aries. And this is where you might feel perhaps some intense willpower, but it might be misdirected, okay? So sort of double check every bit of effort that you put into creation of resources, creation of money, acquisition of, stuff that we need to support our body's journey in life. Also, your self-worth and self-value can be a bit under attack on this day as well if you're Pisces rising, because if you have, we've got this going on in the house of self-worth and self-value, and Pluto is exposing things, exposing the truth. If you've placed your personal value in some realm of life that you think is very important, I'm a really good cook, and that gives me a sense of self-worth and self-value. Well, Pluto could expose that that's a really false place to, false area to put your sense of self-worth and self-value in. Just an example. I mean, it could happen in many ways, but there could be some shake-ups, some transformation of how you value yourself and your personal sense of self-worth. That could come through under this energy. There also could be, like I said, if you're going to make some investments on this day, let's say you wanted to go and sell, you have a ton of silver, the price of silver is going up, you're going to go and sell your silver. Under this energy, that action, Mars's action, could be quite misguided. You think, I'm going to go and sell silver, and then a month later it's doubled in price again, and you're like, damn it. Why did I sell all my silver? I'd hold off on making any big changes to your financial situation under this energy, because what will be triggered with Mars-Pluto square tends to be more crisis, tends to be more events that are full of upheaval in life. So transformation, yes, but of a more negative variety. Yeah, you might transform your financial situation, but it's probably not going to be for the better. So think twice before you go and buy that new acquisition for your art collection or new set of shoes. It might be more detrimental than not. There could be here some secret motives that come out too for you around money. It's not coming out from another person. It might come out from, your own inner being. You might discover, motives around money that you never realized you had. That could be revealed. That could be exposed by Pluto under this energy. And, there could be some things that you might not like to see in yourself that are revealed under this energy. Maybe, just for example's sake, you might discover, oh gosh, I'm actually really quite greedy around this area of life, or I'm actually very, I really like to hoard things, or I'm quite aggressive when it comes to this aspect of my wealth or my money or my acquisitions and property and so forth, and my material resources. And so Pluto could expose some motives and some hidden agendas within you that are perhaps not so flavoursome on this day. But just know that relief will come from the Sun on the 15th of August making a trine to Mars that's going to sort of take the edge off that, make you more honest about things, able to confront things with patience and equanimity, and find creative solutions to a lot of this energy as well. So if you happen to be Aries rising, well, Mars square Pluto is going to be noticeable very actively in your first house. So you guys have to be very careful about how you are looking after your body, in what way you're directing your energy, your life force energy. You need to sort of really double down on that and consider, how are you taking care of your body? You might have a lot of intensity within your body under this energy, and you just got to go for a jog, or got to go for a bike ride. Be very, very careful of accidents if you should do that. Don't go trying to ride 100 Ks when you haven't ridden 5 Ks in the last 10 years. So don't bite off more than you can chew under this energy, because it will be likely to cause crisis and accidents and problems. Stay within your means. Don't overdo it physically on this day. That sort of action, that intense willpower can be a bit misdirected with the body around this time. You might find that some secret motives and agendas within you are revealed under this energy. So Pluto likes to shine a light into the hidden realms, the deep, dark depths of who we are, our psyche. And it's for you guys that it's going to be very personal to you. Maybe Pluto reveals to you, some actions that you've undertaken in the past that were not wise, were not beneficial. The way you treated other people, how you felt about other people, how you thought in relation to other people. Your actions now, you might have to sort of take a double take on and think about. Pluto will tend to reveal truths about who you are that could cause you a bit of angst, that could cause you a bit of frustration under this energy. So it might be through an event that triggers this. It might be through your own pondering, thinking about life, thinking about who you are, that this information comes up in your field. And, use it for good. You can transform it to, do a better job next time, and to go for the higher vibration and the higher level. So the energy of Pluto-Mars will probably reveal that, and you need to push through the challenge that is the square to come out the other side and better yourself. You're also going to get a beautiful support from the trine from the sun. This will be happening for you on the 15th, so 2 days after the square from Pluto. That's going to give some relief. That will help you to be more honest about what you're confronting in yourself. That'll also help you to be more tolerant of other people's opinions as well, of you, that might have caused some hurt and some struggle there. You'll be more tolerant, you'll be more realistic and grounded about these kinds of things. So that's what we're seeing if we're Aries rising, that we might be able to correlate to what's going on in the sky at this time. For Taurus rising people, or sun or moon, but the rising sign is the most impactful. We've got a square from Pluto to Mars occurring this week on the 13th of August, and it's falling in your 12th house. So this is the area of life when you can be a bit misdirected, misguided in your actions. So, spiritual practice, creative practice, healers. I'd be very careful on this day of connecting with certain healers. You might not be heading in the right direction with certain spiritual people or spiritual practices even. You might even have a desire to go overseas and do some traveling, and it could be quite a misguided thing that you're wanting to do. Be very careful of that, because this is our willpower, and Pluto's influence can sort of lead us down the wrong path that actually ends up causing us crisis and difficulty, and even in some cases trauma in life. So if you're looking to do some traveling, think twice before you go to that war-torn country, or that that country that's in lockdown. Don't come to Australia. Because this is a house of foreign things and foreign travel. Your actions to do with spirituality might meet crisis right now. You decide, it could be, spiritual things are peace-loving usually, and gentle and compassionate and kind. But with Mars-Pluto activation, it could be that, you go and meditate and some entity comes in that you don't want to connect with, and you end up leaving your meditation more frustrated than when you began, because you've been sort of tapping into an energy that's not very supportive. 12th house is the house of other dimensions. Not everything out there in other dimensions is benevolent. So be very careful under this energy about your spiritual practice and who and what you're connecting with if you're Taurus rising. Now, the 12th house is the house of secrets, and this energy is about revealing secrets, exposing secrets. So just know, Taurus people, that in your life, there might be some big skeletons in the closet that are exposed now. Things are revealed. Truth is laid bare for you to assess. Now, this could happen in any realm of life, any secret that you are keeping, anything, and it might even be, usually 12th house is secrets that we don't even know are there, our deep, hidden, psychological secrets. Could be even things from past lives that are suddenly revealed, that they're going to be laid bare, and you're going to be like, oh, shock horror, I can't believe that I was like that, or I would do that, or that, that I was hiding that from myself even. Things are exposed now that can actually cause you benefit in the long run. So don't feel just because the hidden side of yourself, the dark side of yourself, the past life experience that has now come out, that was, is causing difficult karmic fruiting in your life. Don't think that just because those things are revealed that, all is lost. You can transform through that. You can heal through that. And I should have mentioned this in the intro, but Pluto is actually the god of therapy. And so if these things are revealed for you Taurus rising people, you can heal any wounds, any sort of addictions, which is also 12th house, any addictions, any sort of connection to anxieties and concerns, they can be healed under this energy as well. But you would have to push through the blockages, the restrictions, the sort of anything that's holding you back and causing trouble. It's like I said in the description, the intro, it's like a rugby scrum. You've got to sort of push into it to heal it when you've got a square aspect. So if any old, past actions or traumas or addictions or issues come up, know that you can transform them under this energy. All is not lost. This is also an energy of action and transformation, but it's about pushing through the blockages, as I said, the challenges to get there. So also deeply hidden desires and passions can come out now. Ones that you might have repressed for a while, they can sort of burst forth like a volcano under this energy too. So just be careful and conscious of other people if that is coming up for you. If you are a Gemini rising person, well, this energy happens to be falling for you, oh dear, in the 11th house. Hang on, I'll hold that. So Mars is falling up here in Aries in your 11th house, and this is the realm you're going to need to be very, very careful of sort of intense willpower that's a bit misdirected. You've got a wonderful friendship group, for example. The 11th house is the house of friends. Wonderful friendship group, and somebody has said something that's hurt someone else, and you decide, I'm going to go in there and sort it all out and tell them what's what. And you have this tremendous, intense willpower to go in and, to get your friends sorted, and it's going to be very misguided under this energy. So if you need to sort of interact with your friends in any way, make sure under this energy you do it with love. And I will just say that so this is happening on the 13th of August. On the 15th of August, the Sun will be trining Mars, and you will be able to activate that kind of energy of, I'm going to instigate, I'm going to take an authoritative position here. You'll be able to do it from more of a heart-centered place. So if there is a situation of anxiety or angst or crankiness with friends, postpone any actions until the 15th, and you'll be much better supported to take action without sort of causing a rift, causing problems with friends if you're Gemini, rising, sun or moon. But any sort of angry crisis situations will cause a transformation under this energy of Pluto Mars. So, if you do not heed my words and you go ahead and you tell your friends off, notice that the relationship is going to be transformed and changed very significantly because of this energy. And probably not for the better, I might add too, under the square influence. You might find, Gemini rising people, that secret motives, secret intents now come out about your friends. Finally, you a realization is made about, oh, hang on, they were only my friend in order to get XYZ off me. They were using me. That might be revealed now. Secret sort of hidden agendas come out about friends, or maybe about groups that you're involved in. Some sort of social group that you thought was all pure and holy turns out to be a bit corrupt or a bit abusive or something. Pluto Mars can reveal that sort of thing about groups and group activities, and even humanitarian causes might be revealed for what they are now under this energy, because Pluto will expose things and bring out the truth about things, and it might not be so pleasant. But on the 15th, you're going to have a trine from the Sun to Mars, and that means that you will feel a bit more tolerant at that stage of other people's opinions, other people's views and desires. You'll also find that you will be able to be more honest and other people will be more honest with you. And under that energy, there's a good chance you can resolve any tensions that might come up. So that's what we're seeing for Gemini rising. If you are Cancer rising, well, you guys have a special week ahead with Sirius becoming visible in your first house, as it does every year, I might add as well. But it's very strong for Cancer people, the blessing of this energy, so enjoy that, guys. But if you are Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising, then the energy of Mars is actually falling in your 10th house, and this is where there might be some intense willpower exerted that results in some sort of misdirection. So you might be feeling angry or frustrated, and you decide you're going to go and tell your boss where he can shove his job. 10th house is bosses. And so in you go and you tell him where he can shove his job, and obviously there's an action, and Mars is action, that's very misguided, that's going to cause a big transformation of a negative sense. Pluto is transformation, making a square aspect to Mars, a big transformation of a negative sense in your career development. So be very wary of flying off the handle, of taking intense action that actually isn't going to be for your betterment, for your best good, because this is an energy of action meets crisis in the realm of career. So, perhaps hold off for a day or two before taking any action with regard to seeking a promotion, with regard to, connecting with a boss in some way, or taking some sort of action around career. I'd hold off for a day or two until the Sun makes a trine to Mars on the 15th of August. When that happens, things will flow better. Things will be more honest and open. There'll be more respect for other people's opinions. You'll be able to communicate your deep desires with sort of a good heart intent. The Sun is to come at things, certainly in his own sign Leo with a trine, to come at things from a heart-centered perspective. That will help if you want to go for that promotion, or if you need to tell your boss, hang on, this isn't working and we need to resolve this. It's going to come from a better place on the 15th of August rather than on the 13th. So be very aware of that. We can also find that secret motives under this energy come out from, about what our bosses are up to. We might have thought they were the purest thing since, I don't know, a white dove, I don't know, something. And we thought our bosses were wonderful and fantastic and they had our best interest in mind. And then something happens on the 13th of August and it's like, hang on a minute, the truth comes out. Pluto reveals, Pluto exposes certain actions in the realm of authority figures that aren't so benevolent. Now, this can be also for us as a collective as well. We might find that the motivations behind certain actions taken by political leaders or by people in authority or by the police or by judges or people who are in authority over everybody else, 10th house, have not been that benevolent. That can be exposed under this energy. And in many cases, that might be a good thing, that things are revealed. Because the truth comes out, then you know how to deal with it. You know how to act. When it's hidden, you act in ignorance. You totally got the wool pulled over your eyes. It's better that things be exposed. But just know that if things are, regarding work, regarding career, if things are exposed, it's going to lead to a significant transformation under this energy. So, that's the realm that it's going to be activated in your chart if you are Cancer rising. Now, if you are Leo rising or Sun or Moon, but most activated in the charts of Leo rising people, it's where it's most strongly felt, then the planet Mars will be in your 9th house. And this is where there might be some intense willpower coming from the square from Pluto to Mars, intense willpower, but it's going to perhaps be somewhat misdirected. So you might feel intensely that you want to get in touch with that mentor, that inspirational figure, and they've said something. Maybe they're a YouTuber and they've said something on YouTube, and you strongly disagree. And I'm going to give them a piece of my mind, and you blurt something out in a comment on YouTube, or you send them an email giving them what for, and it can actually cause a lot of damage under this energy. It could be very misdirected. So be careful about what you're spouting, what you're teaching, what you're sharing, knowledge-wise with this energy. Be very careful about how you're interacting with your mentors, your gurus, your inspirational figures, because if you sort of go off the handle, it could be very transformational in a negative way. Your intense willpower. And you can also find, because the ninth house is directed to travel, to other cultures, you might have a misdirected intent or action that is directed to some other cultural practice or some other cultural way of doing things that comes out very misguided and very missing the mark. That can happen under this energy. And we can also see that secret motivations are revealed. Secret hidden agendas come out under Pluto Mars energy for Leo rising people. So for example, that might look like some spiritual guru that you loved and you upheld. Suddenly something's revealed about them and you're like, God, I didn't know they were like that. And sort of your mental picture of them as an inspirational person comes crumbling down. And you know your ideals about them are destroyed. That can happen under this energy as well. Secret motivations, these can come out now and they can cause a lot of animosity. So you know, it could be that the secret motivations of a cultural group are revealed for what they are. And that can cause a lot of tension in your life, you know. Maybe you've been involved with that cultural group and suddenly the truth comes out about them and you're like, oh God, what was I doing being involved with them? Or maybe you have some philosophical beliefs, because this is the house of higher learning as well. And you've got some philosophical beliefs about what is right, what is true, what is good, what is moral. And then truth comes out about that particular belief system. And it's like, shit, you know, I don't want to align myself with that belief system. That's really dodgy. You know, that sort of thing can be revealed under this energy, and it can cause a lot of angst and animosity towards that group, towards that cultural practice, towards that belief system that rises up in people and rises up in you perhaps under this energy also. But on the 15th of August, we're going to have a nice trine from the Sun to Mars, and this will tone things down, thankfully. People will be being more honest under this energy, and there'll be more tolerance of other viewpoints, other opinions, other desires that comes with this particular energy on the 15th of August. That'll alleviate some of that pressure of Pluto Mars. Pluto Mars is still going to be there. In fact, it's going to be in play on and off again for the rest of the year. And so we are going to have to learn to navigate this wisely. But yeah, certainly this week we've got a bit of relief coming from this aspect here. Now, if we are Virgo rising people, well, we're seeing Mars fall in the 8th house. And Mars is this week on the 13th of August making a square aspect to Pluto. And so it's this realm of life that might be getting highly charged up by intense willpower that's often misdirected. So you might have an urgency or an energy that says, you know what, I've got to go and, you know, buy up a ton of silver on behalf of my client, you know, or I'm going to go and invest in this stock market, whatever, on this day. For my client, because this is about managing other people's money. And so you have this intense think, I'm going to go and assert my willpower, tell my client they've got to invest in these stocks or back this, whatever it happens to be. And this can often be misdirected on this day. So if you're feeling the urgency to manage other people's money in some way, shape or form, and take some action around the management of that money, I'd ask you to hold off until at least the 15th of August, when the Sun will trine Mars, and you'll be more likely to sort of get an honest perspective on things, and to have actually more of a tolerant perspective on how to handle other people's money. That's if you're in a position where that's what you do for a living, of course, if you're Virgo rising people. But look, the 8th house has to do with the occult, has to do with astrology, has to do with psychology. Therapy is an 8th house thing. So all of these realms can be suffering from a bit of tension under this energy, a bit of, angst, a bit of frustration. You know, you might be, let's say you're an astrologer and there's some sort of under this energy, some sort of jealousy of other astrologers come up, very eighth house. And this intense, jealousy, eighth house jealousy of other astrologers. And you want to just go and tell them, you're not right and I'm right and you're wrong. Well, that could be very misguided actions that happens under this energy. And I would encourage you not to do that. Same would go if you're feeling that way about other psychologists and neuropsychologists, or, you've done a therapeutic practice and you put a lot of energy into a therapeutic practice and maybe it's misguided. Maybe you involve yourself with some sort of, I don't know, might be art therapy, dance therapy, music therapy, psychological therapy or something, and it's been a misguided thing for you to do, on this day. Generally therapy is just fantastic. Do it. But on this day, you go and do some dance therapy, let's say, and you pull a hamstring because on this day, you didn't warm up, you didn't limber up before you did your dance therapy, and then you're really suffering. Just a silly example, but there could be some misguided sort of intensity of energy directed into some kind of therapy practice that causes more damage than good in the long term. Because our actions meet crisis under this energy. The actions that we take can come head on with crisis, especially when it's coming from the house of crisis and upheaval as well. So for Virgo rising people, be very careful of where you direct your actions in everything around this time, because sometimes if we don't act with caution, if we're not using our wisdom, if we're jumping headlong, as is the case that Mars can sometimes do, it doesn't stop to think, we can actually suffer sort of consequences of crisis that have to do with that. This is also a house of hidden secrets and secret agendas, and this energy brings those things out now. Pluto into Mars brings out hidden secrets and reveals them and exposes them. So especially for Virgo rising people, when this is falling in the 8th house, well, this is where things are going to be revealed and exposed. Hidden secrets, hidden agendas that other people have towards you. If this was falling in your 1st house, if you were Aries rising, well, the hidden secrets and agendas are going to be about, your hidden secrets and agendas can be exposed now. But for Virgo rising people, it's the hidden agendas and secrets of others that might be revealed to you now that could cause a lot of frustration and anger in your life, a lot of disappointment, and it could come from any realm. Anyone who's keeping a secret from you, any other person, particularly somebody that you've been in a state of intimacy with. So it could be a business partner, or it could be a lover or a relationship partner as well. Any sort of contractual type relationship we see, because contractual relationships are a 7th house thing, and the 8th house is the money, the resources, the self-worth, the self-valuing of our intimate sort of our contractual relationship. And so it's the self-worth, it's the valuing of you that by other people that is now revealed, and if they have not respected you, if they have not valued you, if they have not honored you, that's going to be revealed. That secret, the thing that they were keeping from you, that thing that they were hiding from you, now exposed under this energy. So the truth comes out about business partnerships and intimate relationships with this particular placement. Be very, very careful of that being the case. And forewarned is forearmed. You'll know how to deal with it, or hopefully won't react in a way that's detrimental if that should be revealed. So just on that, the alleviating factor this week is going to be the Sun making a trine to Mars on the 15th of August, and that will help people to be more honest in their interactions with each other. That will help people to be more tolerant of other people's perspectives and views, and that's going to help a great deal with unraveling a lot of these secret things that come out and making sure that you get to the bottom of them effectively. So in that sense, Sun trine Mars can be very beneficial. Get my words out, very beneficial. And finally, for Libra rising people, well, there we are. Libra rising people, Mars is in your 7th house, and this square to Pluto will be causing some intense willpower, probably around some relationship, some, contractual sort of dynamic that you have with somebody else that could be causing some problems. So you'll have a intensity. Maybe you want to work on a relationship, or you ring your business partner and say, we need to have a meeting and we need to sit down and work this thing out, and doing so might be a bit misdirected right now, because maybe you want to sort out a problem that hasn't come to its final conclusion yet, and you haven't given it a chance to sort of, some business issue, some business circumstance that you want to go and sort out before it's had a chance to really prove itself, as an example. So you meet with your business partner and this isn't working and that isn't working and la da da da, and you're just jumping the gun. You're moving too fast. Energy of Mars. Very misdirected to go and talk with your business partner yet about this particular business issue, because it hasn't had a chance to find its feet yet, or something of that nature. Same with a relationship. You might jump the gun about some issue and take action on some issue regarding your relationship, and it's very misdirected, it's very misguided, and it causes problems and tensions, World War III in your home domestic environment in some way. Because this is action meeting crisis in a tense square. So action meeting crisis. So you take action regarding, relationships, and it ends up in a state of crisis and turmoil. But know that even if that does happen, even if, I'm trying to sort of give you forewarned is forearmed, but even if it does happen and you can't help it, then it's likely to be very transformative, because that's what Pluto wants to do, is to transform and change, in this case, relationships for you, for the better. But it's going to come with a bit of animosity, a bit of sort of getting in the scrum, sort of having to push hard and work things out. So that could be very, very challenging. There might be also some secret hidden motives that come out now under this energy. You might find that your spouse has secretly been hiding money from you, because he doesn't want to share the same bank account. Fair enough, but maybe they've been keeping all this money aside, and you've been struggling to pay the bills, and there isn't enough money for food, and they've been sort of hoarding money on the side for their little, whatever they do with it. And frustration, anger, tension, secrets come out now under this energy. Deeply hidden desires, deep passions of an angry nature surface under Pluto square Mars energy. So, maybe your partner's been keeping something bottled up for a long time instead of talking about it and discussing things, and suddenly under this energy it all comes out, it's all revealed, and poof, there it is, the big volcano erupts. That can also happen for Libra people under this energy too. So be very careful of that sort of warring energy that is occurring in relationships and business partnerships under this energy. But on the 15th of August is going to be a great time to try and resolve things, because the Sun will trine to Mars, and that is going to alleviate a lot of the pressure valve, will kind of open and release the pressure, because it's under the energy of the trine that people can be more honest, that people can be more tolerant of others, that people can be a bit more respectful of people's other opinions and their other people's desires, Mars as well. So that's going to help a lot. I probably should have said in the beginning, the intro of this reading, the square aspect is representative of Saturn energy, blockage, restriction, sort of hindrance. The trine aspect is Jupiter. And so this week, just to surmise for everybody, for this week, we've got the energy of Saturn playing out in a square between these two, and the energy of Jupiter playing out in a trine between these two. It's kind of a battle of the biggies. But try and go for this more benevolent feeling in your life. And if you've got to make big decisions, if you've got to take big actions, try and leave it till the 15th of August when you're more under that benevolent trine energy. And especially if you're Libra rising, you've got to sign contracts this week. Try and do it around the 15th of August. That's Australian time too, I'm using here. If you're in the rest of the world, it'll sort of be the day before, the 14th. But yeah, the 15th of August is going to be far more beneficial for contract signing than under this energy, where it's going to be, full of tension and friction and, hidden secrets and misdirected energy and action and so forth. So that's what we're seeing in the stars this week. It's going to be quite an interesting one. I do hope the whiz around has proved helpful to people, even though it's focusing on a more negative energy type. But that's just the way it is for the rest of this year, where a lot of what we're going to be experiencing is coming from these three heavy duties here and the energy squaring to Mars that's going to be playing out for the rest of the year. So it's something we're going to have to learn to navigate, something we're going to have to learn to live with. And so hence my astrology weather reports, where, as I said, forewarned is forearmed, to help you navigate through this time. So thank you very much for joining me. I want to close, as I always do, with a prayer for support and guidance from the universe. Energy of love, we thank you that you are present with us through everything that is to come for the rest of 2020. Help us to up-level, help us to raise our vibration, help us to seek higher truth and divine guidance and wisdom for our journey, so that we can bless our own lives and be a blessing in the lives of others, and create a much better world for us all to live in out the other side of this rather transformational year. Thank you that you're with us and supporting us each step of the way. And so it is. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll have another get my words out. I'll have another weather report for you next week. I'll catch you then.